Good morning, student. Welcome in another video lecture session for BBS semester 6, subject tax planning and management. We are running in second chapter. It is capital gain, and we already complete, I think, five or six practical question. So today here we are going for another practical question for capital gain. As you seen on your screen, there is question number 6 as per your book, but it is a question number 7 as per our video lecture session for your study. So question is, Kumari Shittal sold her following assets during the year ending 31st March 2020. There is a table given: assets, date of purchase, purchase price, date of sell, sales price, transfer expenses, etc. There is another other information given in below. First one, she had incurred rupees 2,40,000 in the year 2014-15 for additional construction in the house. Number two, the fair market value of assets as on 1st April 2001 were as under: residential house for 14 lakhs, jewelry rupees 935,075, Y limited shares 1,60,000. Number three, security transaction tax STT has been paid on sale of X limited shares. No STT has been paid on sale of Y limited shares. Relevant index number for a particular previous year: 1, 2, 4, 5, 12, 12. There is by mistake, I think there is 12, 13 or 11, 12, 15, 16 or 14, 15 and 19, 20. She has purchased a new flat immediately after she sold the residential house. Calculate the taxable capital gain for the assessment year 2020-21. Okay. Now, let's we check answer of the same question. Here it is. Here it is. Answer number 7 as per our video lecture session, but it is question number 6 as per your book. So let's start. First, we have to make a title: statement showing taxable capital gain of Kumari Sheetal. Then we have to draw a table. In table, there is a 3 column. First column for a particular, and remaining 2 column for rupees. Okay. Now we are going for start for calculation. First assets we have residential house. So title: residential house. Selling price of capital assets, which is given in table, rupees 47,18,750, less specific deductions. First deduction is selling expense or a transfer charges or transfer price. That is given in table in last column, rupees 33,750 for a particular assets. There is second deduction, indexed cost of assets, which is calculated by purchase price of the particular house. This house was purchased on 10th July 1997 as per data given. It means it is purchased before 2001. So obviously there is a fair market value given of the particular assets, which is rupees 14 lakhs. So as per tax law, if a purchase price is less than FMV, then we have to calculate index cost as per FMV. It means as per whichever is more. So 14 lakhs multiply index number of previous year 289 divided by index number of purchasing year, which is before 2001. So base number 100. This we get indexed cost of house rupees 40 lakh 46,000. There is another indexed cost for additional construction. As per data given in other information number 1, in 2014-15, C has paid incurred rupees 2,40,000 for additional construction expense for a particular house. So we have to calculate here indexed cost of additional construction. By this calculation, 2,40,000, which is expense for additional construction, multiply 289, which is a index number of previous year, divided by 240, which is the index number of additional construction year. So this way we get rupees 2,89,000, which is index cost of additional construction. So this way we get total, we had allowed, sorry. So this way we allowed deduction rupees 43,68,750 from our selling price of house. So finally we get benefit or gain from sale of house rupees 3,50,000. But as per information given in additional information number last, number 6, she has immediately purchased a new residential house. So as per data given in table number 7, new flat, which is purchased on 30th December 2019 at rupees 10 lakh. So house against house, so we get benefit for exemption under section 54. Purchase of new flat, flat purchase value rupees 10 lakh, while your capital gain rupees 3,50,000 only. It means there is your investment is more than your gain. So whole amount of gain is considered as exemption, or sorry, considered as exempted under section 54. So balance is nil. It means there is taxable capital gain 0, which is result A. Now we take second assets. There is a shares of X Limited. The first selling price of assets, which is given data given in table, rupees 2,80,712. Sorry, less specific deduction. Deduction number 1, selling expense. It means transfer price or transfer charges, as per data given in table last column rupees 1,800. And second deduction, indexed cost of assets, which is calculated by purchase price of share, which is 1,52,168, multiply index number of previous year 289 divided by index number of purchasing year 184. So this way we get amount or of index cost rupees 2,39,003. So total deduction allowed 2,40,803, and finally we get capital gain rupees 39,909. And less exemption, there is no any further investment out of gain. So all amount of gain is considered as a taxable capital gain rupees 39,909, which is result B. There is another assets, shares of Y Limited. We have to apply same calculation. First one, selling price of capital assets, which is given rupees 6,17,500. Then less specific deductions. Number 1, selling expense, which is given in table rupees 1,500. Second deduction, index cost of assets. There is purchase price of share 2 lakh, and also there is FMV is given of Y Limited shares, which is 1,60,000. But obviously 2 lakh is more than FMV. So 2 lakh multiply 289 previous number of index number of previous year divided by 100. So we this way we get amount rupees 5,78,000 as a index cost, and total deduction allowed from selling price rupees 5,79,500. So finally long-term capital gain from sale of Y Limited shares rupees 38,000. There is no investment from sale profit of Y Limited shares. It means all amount of gain is considered as a taxable capital gain, which is result C. Next assets, jewelry. First one, selling price of jewelry or capital assets, which is given in table rupees 24,81,855. Less specific deduction. Number 1, selling expense, which is given in table rupees 3,000. Number 2, indexed cost of assets, which is find out by multiply of purchase price into selling index number of previous year divided by index number of purchasing year. Here jewelry purchase on 1st October 2004, but there is also a FMV given as on 1st April 2001. So we remember, if FMV given of any assets and FMV is more than its original purchase price, then it should be considered to calculate indexed cost of assets. So here original price of jewelry is rupees 7,50,000, while its FMV is rupees 9,35,075. So obviously 9,35,075 is more than its original price. So it should be taken to it should be taken to calculate index cost of assets. So here 9,35,075 multiply index number of previous year 289 divided by index number of purchasing year 113. So this way 23,91,475 is taken as an index cost, and total deduction allowed rupees 23,94,475. So finally, she get benefit from sale of jewelry rupees 87,380, but she can't invest from this profit. So there is all amount of gain is considered as a taxable capital gain, result T. Now finally there is a debenture. Be remember, there is no indexation benefit allowed in debenture cash. Very first, selling price of assets, debenture sales price rupees 2,42,000 less specific deductions. Number one, selling expense of debenture, there is 2,000 brokerage paid for sale of debenture, and there is cost of assets. Be remember here, cost of assets, we already discussed in previous example, there is no benefit allowed of indexation cost in case of debenture, because we already received interest every year of a particular period from debentures amount or from debenture investment. So there is no indexation is allowed in case of debenture. So original purchase price of debenture should be less as a deduction. So this way we get we should allow deduction from debenture sales price rupees 2,02,000, and there is a capital gain rupees 40,000 from sale of debenture. There is also no any investment from profit of debenture. So all amount of profit of debenture is considered as a taxable capital gain, which is rupees 40,000. Then there is a motor car, but motor car is our personal assets, so it should not be considered as a capital assets. So there is no require any calculation in motor car. So finally, there is a total taxable capital gain of Kumari Sittal during previous year. A plus B plus C plus D plus E. There is A, selling price of house, there is no profit. B, rupees 39,909. C, rupees 38,000. D, rupees 87,380, and E, 40,000. So this way, Kumari Sittal get taxable profit. Kumari Sittal on taxable profit during previous year 2019-20 or during assessment year 2020-21 rupees 2,05,289. Okay, here we complete question number 7. Now we are going for next question. There is question number 17 as per your book, but it is question number 8 as per our video lecture session. So very first I am going to start reading this question. I'm going to read this question now. Number 17. Find out taxable capital gain from the following information of Sri Ajit Bhai for the assessment year 2020-21. There is table given in the question like previous question: assets, date of purchase, cost of acquisition, date of sale, sales value, sales expense. There is residential house, personal gold, personal computer, share, residential flat in urban area. Fair value of rural residential house was rupees 14 lakh on 1st April 2001. From the sale proceed of this house, rupees 11 lakh invested in a new residential house on date 2nd January 2020. For the benefit of tax exemption, he invested rupees 4 lakh 50,000 in 3 years NHAI bond on 2nd July 2020. Okay. તો રેસિડેન્શિયલ હાઉસ જે છે રૂરલ એરિયામાં, ગ્રામીણ વિસ્તારમાં જ્યાં છે, એ હાઉસ એને બિફોર 2000-2001 પરચેસ કરેલું છે. સો પેરેગ્રાફમાં એની ફેર માર્કેટ વેલ્યુ આપેલી છે 14 lakhs અને એની સેલ પ્રોસીડમાંથી એને નવું હાઉસ પરચેસ કરેલું છે, ન્યૂ હાઉસ પરચેસ બાય હિમ at rupees 11 lakh, and also he invested rupees 4,50,000 in bond of NHAI. Okay, so here we are going to start we are going to calculate answer of the particular same question. Very first statement showing taxable capital gain of Sri Ajit Bhai. Previous year 1920, assessment year 2020-21. First property, residential house in rural area. Selling price of assets, there is 57,62,250 less specific deductions. Number one, selling expense or selling charge or sales expense as data given in question, last column, rupees 37,750. Second deduction, indexed cost of house or indexed cost of assets. Here he purchased this house in 1997 at rupees 6 lakh, but its fair market value as on 1st April 2001 is rupees 14 lakhs. So obviously 14 lakhs should be considered, should be taken to calculate indexed cost of house, because it is more. So 14 lakhs multiply 289 divided by 100 is equal to 40 lakh 46,000. So this way deduction allowed total rupees 40 lakh 83,750, which is less from selling price. So balance rupees 16 lakh 78,500. It is considered as a long-term capital gain. Then he invests rupees 11 lakh for purchase of new residential house, and rupees 4 lakh 50,000 he invests in bond of NHAI. So this way he get exemption benefit under section 54 for purchase of new house rupees 11 lakh, and under section 54 EC for purchase of NHAI bond rupees 4 lakh 50,000. So this way he get total exemption benefit rupees 15 lakh 50,000, which is less from long-term capital gain. So balance figure rupees 1,28,500. It is considered as a taxable capital gain. Result A. Personal gold, second assets. Very first selling price of assets 24,31,000 as given in question. Then less specific deductions. Deduction number one, selling expense, that is transfer price rupees 3,000 as per data given in last column. Second deduction, indexed cost of indexed cost of assets. The gold purchased by him at rupees 11,30,000. So 11,30,000 multiply index number of previous year divided by index number of purchasing year 113. So index cost of gold rupees 28,90,000. So total deduction allowed from selling price rupees 28,93,000. So total long-term capital loss, there is, we remember there is a loss rupees 4,62,000. Okay. Number next, personal computer. We remember personal computer is not considered as a capital assets, so there is not required any calculation. Then shares unquoted. First selling price of assets, there is 4,53,500 less specific deductions. Deduction number one, selling expense as per data given in table, there is rupees 4,500. Second deduction, indexed cost of assets, which is calculated by purchase price of shares, which is given in table rupees 1,84,000 multiply index number of previous year 289 divided by index number of purchasing year 184. So this way total 2,89,000 is considered as a indexed cost, and total deduction allowed rupees 2,93,500, which should be less from selling price. So balance rupees 1,60,000 is considered as a long-term capital gain. Then less exemption, but there is no any investment to get benefit of exemption. So no any exemption is allowed. So taxable capital gain result C rupees 1,60,000. Then finally, assets residential flat in urban area. શહેરી વિસ્તારમાં એનો ફ્લેટ છે. First one selling price of flat rupees 45,30,250 less specific deductions. Number one selling expense rupees 30,250. Second deduction cost of assets. Here cost of assets because this flat was purchased on 30th August 2018 and sell on 1st February 2020. It means there is a period between a purchase and sell is less than 24 months. So as per law of short-term capital gain, any land or any house property should be held by SSE for more than 24 months, then it is considered as a long-term capital assets. In other case, it is considered as a short-term. Here, holding period of flat in urban area is not more than 24 months, but it is less than 24 months. So it should be considered as a short-term capital assets. So in as per law, in short-term capital assets, there is only cost of assets should be less from selling price. So here total deduction rupees 40,30,250, which is less from selling price. So balance figure rupees 5 lakh is considered as a capital gain, but it is considered as a short-term capital gain, not long-term. There is no exemption allowed because there is no any investment from profit. So taxable capital gain result D, which is short-term 5 lakhs. So total long-term capital loss A plus B plus C, there is a rupees 1,28,500, B minus B, remember there is a loss 4,62,000, and C rupees 1,60,000. So overall total capital loss in long-term assets 1,73,500. And there is only one short-term capital assets, which is flat in urban area, in which he get benefit rupees 5 lakh. Okay, so here we complete this video lecture session with two practical question number 7 and question number 8 as per our video lecture session. In next session, I think it will be a final session or a final video lecture for this chapter. Till then, have a good day. Goodbye.